Oh, one of the favorite tourist attractions here in Philadelphia, at the Philadelphia Museum of Art, the statue of Rocky. On the other side of town, down Broad Street, Citizens Bank Park. It is the final game of this three-game series, the Rockies and Phillies. The Rockies trying to salvage one out of the 3 ball games before returning home and getting ready for the Washington Nationals. Charlie Blackmon focusing on the pitcher, Adam Morgan. He'll lead things off. He's had a terrific series, 3 home runs on Friday night. Here's the Southwest batting order for Walt Weiss. And the first thing you'll notice, no Carlos Gonzalez. He's fine. He's just being given a day after a night game. They're being very cautious with that ankle. He had a couple of hits last night, including a 9th inning double. LeMahieu's been red hot. He's at .332. Nolan will bat third. Ryan Rayburn will play first base. He'll bat cleanup. Then Dahl, 2 doubles yesterday. Nick Hundley, Gerardo Parra, Christian Adames, and Tyler Chatwood. Adam Morgan, the Rockies saw him earlier this year and they beat him up pretty good, scored 6 runs against him. Morgan's numbers not very good at the big league level, but with the Iron Pigs down at AAA, he's been outstanding.
He went down there, and after the numbers that he had in the major leagues, they weren't very good. And for a guy that has great command, he was probably throwing too many strikes. Getting hit for a lot of home runs with Adam Morgan, but going down to AAA ended up in 5 games, and 4 of those being starts, 5-0 with a 2.76 ERA. So he has pitched very well down in the minor leagues.
And his first pitch of the ball game is in there for a strike. He's not a hard thrower. 4-pitch mix. He's kind of moved away from the curveball, and he will pitch backwards. They like his makeup. He's a tough guy. And he hasn't had a ton of run support at the big league level. And no way getting away from the 0-7 over his last 11 ball games at the big league level. 9 starts, 2 out of the pen.
Pretty straightforward arsenal, and some of the numbers that'll stick out. Hitters are hitting .351 against his fastball. He throws about 50% of the time. Hitting about .400 against his changeup.
He's given up 90 hits in a little more than 66 innings. That also stands out. Charlie last night, after the 3-homer game on Friday, went 1 for 4. He was hit by a pitch. He did strike out 3 times, which is unusual. That's outside. Home plate umpires Adrian Johnson, Chad Whitson at first, Gary Cederstrom at second, and Eric Cooper's at third. It is hot, 95 degrees, and the temperature is going up, not down. They say the heat index today could be close to 110 degrees. Wherever the Rockies have been lately, it has been warm, to say the least. I didn't even check the weather report for this week. We getting 95 plus back home?
I haven't looked either.
We'll turn now to Dougie, because Dougie's always up on the weather. What are we getting at home, Doug? This ball in the air to shallow center field, and it is dropped by Herrera. And the Rockies get an early gift. I don't know if he was concerned with Freddie Galvis running in his direction, but that was just dropped by Herrera. It is an error.
I think when you read the bat of Charlie Blackmon, and we all know how hot he has been this week, Herrera took the first step back and then had to close in on the baseball. And there definitely is a sense of fear when you're a center fielder and you're running in and you know your shortstop and Freddie Galvis, and he's a very good shortstop, second in National League in fielding percentage, that he's going to go out to go get it. And Herrera, in my opinion, probably took his eye off the ball to look up.
DJ takes outside, ball 1. See if the Rockies can take advantage. Yes, 90 plus the first few days of the week.
Perfect. That's nice.
DJ 12 for 26 this year against the Phils, a .462 average. Outside 2-0. Last night he had 3 more hits, was on base 4 times because he walked. It's a typical night of late for DJ. Walk, single, home run on Friday night.
always have concern for the players and the umpires when you have such high temperatures, and right now the heat index is 106 degrees, and just making sure you hydrate, and you're going to watch the players run in and off the field. Luckily for both teams, there's a little bit of cloud cover.
Well, the guy to me, that you worry about more than anybody is the home plate umpire. It's Adrian Johnson today, because he does not get a break, and he's got the mask on the whole time. Runner go, and Charlie is underneath the tag. That's his 16th stolen base, if it stands, because immediately Cesar Hernandez pointed to the Phillies dugout. That's kind of like standard practice these days.
Just tag and point into the dugout.
Close.
Well, we always pay attention to the splits, and the home road splits for the Colorado Rockies. Obviously, they're going to hit better at Coors Field than they do on the road. 243 average on the road is 25th in baseball. And they are going to check that. The reason why I'm pointing out the home road splits is because the Rockies have tried to create offense on the road by stealing bases. Problem is, the Rockies have been thrown out 19 times on the bases. That's second worst in baseball on the road. So even though they're not hitting for such a high average, when they do get guys on base, they're getting tossed out trying to steal bases.
They are reviewing it. Can't tell there because the feet are blocking Charlie's. Hernandez's feet are blocking Charlie's. This one should be pretty definitive. Slow, 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 slow. Don't know if they're touching him yet. That one actually you can't tell if the tag was on him yet. See about this angle. I think it may be one of those things where it's a good thing that he was called safe, in that there may not be enough evidence to flip it. I mean, it is close. I'm saying he's going to remain at second base. Out. What do I know?
Well, make that 20 caught stealings for the Rockies on the road, and that will tie him for first worst in baseball.
So Cameron Rupp, who's thrown out just 17% of would-be base stealers this year versus well over 30 last year, gets Charlie Blackmon on the review. One out, it's 2-1 on LeMahieu. And Odubel Herrera will have another opportunity here. 2 outs. Let's take a look at the Phillies defensively. Odubel Herrera came into the ball game late yesterday defensively. Jimmy Paredes getting a start in left field. Altair has been in all 3 outfield spots in this series. Franco, Galvis, Hernandez, Big Ryan Howard, and Cameron Rupp doing the catching. Carlos Ruiz was behind the dish yesterday. Rockies with 2 outs, and Nolan Arenado will come up. Nolan's kind of been on again, off again. Talked to him in the clubhouse this morning. Said my hot streaks haven't been as prolonged as I'm accustomed to lately. Remember at home he went off. I think he was like 7 for 10 over 2-3 ball games. Hit the ball out of the ballpark. He had a 2-homer and a double game, and on this road trip he's gone cold.
Yeah, 1 for 14, and he's 0 for 9 in the series against the Phillies. And this is a great place to hit, and for a guy like Nolan, short porch to left field, you would think he'd take advantage of it. 9 career games at Citizens Bank Park, only a 194 batting average.
Talked again this morning about making sure he gets his A swing off. And you know this, Billy, from playing for a long time in this league, that you're going to get typically one good pitch to hit in at bat, and you want to square it up. This ball squared up to center field, but Herrera is going to get back on the edge of the track and make the catch. And too often the case is you foul that pitch off instead of putting it in play with authority. That is what he's going through right now. Chatwood is on the bump. That's a good thing. Citizens Bank Park in South Philadelphia on a hot, humid day. Cesar Hernandez, who has reached in 20 consecutive ball games, will lead things off for Philly. And here's the Southwest batting order for Pete Buchanan. Aaron Altair, he'll bat second. Maikel Franco, center of the storm last night. He had a first inning 3-run home run, plunked in his second at bat. Ryan Howard has driven in 7 in his last 2 ball games. Cameron Rupp, Odubel Herrera, Freddie Galvis, Jimmy Paredes, and Adam Morgan. Tyler Chatwood's numbers 10 and 7 on the road. He is as good as it gets in baseball. This will be his 10th road start in his first 9. An MLB best 130 road ERA. The league hitting a whopping 179 against him out on the road. That is second best. And he pounds the strike zone with that fastball, and you're going to see that hard sinking fastball almost 3/4 of the time.
The pitch you're not going to see is a changeup. You saw it said 2% at the bottom. That's over the course of the season. His last start against the Rangers decided not to throw it, and for good reason. When you look at the numbers on his different pitches, hitters don't hit the fastball too well. The slider, 204 batting average, but the changeup, 333 batting average, and even worse, a slugging over 800.
That misses 1 and 2. Strike 3. Adrian Johnson says it had the zone. So 1 out as Hernandez is sent away. And that'll bring up the 6'5" right fielder, Aaron Altair. Here's the Rockies defensively. It's Dahl, Blackman, and Parra in the outfield. And we focus in on Ryan Rayburn, the first baseman. That's right, Ryan Rayburn, the first baseman. Just his 4th career start at first, and his first in 6 years. But the Rockies have so many left-handed bats, and they're facing a southpaw today, that it makes you shuffle things around if you're Walt Weiss. And that's where the injury to Mark Reynolds really stands out. Trevor Story, obviously. 1-0's in there, 1 and 1 on Altair.
I think it's going to be one of those games where pretty much when Adam Morgan is out of the game, you'll probably see the same with Ryan Rayburn, especially if the Rockies take the lead. We'll start protecting it, but we're not sure what Rayburn's going to do. He could be the best first baseman we've ever seen. We don't know that. But most likely you're going to play a guy like a Ben Paulson who will probably come in the game and end up finishing the game at first base. Someone that's done it for a lot more innings.
Here's the 1-2. What you hear guys say who've played in the outfield for years and years. You were a guy that played some infield, and then you were an outfielder. I mean, time late in high school beyond, you were an outfielder. And all of a sudden when you go to the infield, it's like, man, these guys are close. Ball comes quick. 2 strikeouts.
I was playing first base in Japan, and there's 2 things I didn't enjoy about playing first base. Number one was that you're way more involved in the game. I like being out in La La Land in the outfield, thinking about stuff.
And the skipper usually liked you out in La La Land.
Yeah, they like me out there. Number 2, the only thing I was upset about in Japan, I always wanted to come to the mound when you ever have the coaches visit, but I couldn't understand what that was going on.
You wanted to participate.
I wanted to play.
You're a friendly guy.
Yeah,
you like conversation.
I wanted to talk to the people at first, and I couldn't say one word to them.
Franco at the plate has 1 hit in the series. It was a big one, that 3-run home run against Tyler Anderson in the first yesterday. And he gets tied up there, fouls it off his knee. Got a cutter that didn't get in enough last night, and he hit it out to the deepest portion. And then Anderson hit him with a pitch in his next at bat, and that precipitated the benches emptying. And I thought, we'll talk about it a little bit more later, a very quick decision by Eric Cooper to run him. 1 ball, 2 strikes. It's a big chopper, and Chatty gets back, and the first he wanted to test Rayburn.
Yeah.
Let me throw it in the dirt to you, see how you do. Great inning for Chatwood. We'll go to the second, no score. Walks in the distance the Rockies earned throughout the season. Start tracking your own steps today to get fit. So far this season, the Rockies have walked 374 times, 33,660 feet. You and I walked a lot yesterday.
Yeah, but not.
Wasn't a productive walk.
No, it was awful. Golfing.
Rayburn at the plate. He's batting cleanup this afternoon, leading it off in the second inning against the captain.
The captain. Captain Morgan?
Captain Morgan.
That's funny.
Didn't laugh. Morgan misses ball 1. That's outside. Rayburn's hitting the cleanup spot 3 other times this year. Got Dahl behind him, and that ball's yanked foul. What a strange one last night. The Rockies lost 6-3, and yet they had more singles than Philadelphia. They had more doubles than Philadelphia. They had the only triple of the game, and they out-homered them 2-1. 13 hits to 6. It's the first time ever that happened to a Philadelphia Phillies team. They are now 1-202 when that happens. And it wasn't, well, man, it was a slugfest and we won 8-7. They won by 3 runs. Rockies scored only 3 runs, hitting 2 home runs in the game, having a triple, having several doubles, 7 singles, 13 hits. Really a strange ball game last night. So Rayburn reaches. Here's Dahl, who's been very good left on left, and he takes strike 1. David had the 17-game hitting streak, the historic 17-game hitting streak to begin his career, terminated on Friday, and he got back after it last night, throwing out 2 doubles in 5 at-bats.
He's got to love the approach of David Dahl. He's able to sit behind the baseball, can pull pitches if it's an off speed. And for a young hitter to take a fastball and hit it over the shortstop, it's very similar to DJ LeMahieu's approach. Trying to drive the ball in the off gap, and then when a pitcher spins a pitch and it's out over the plate, you can pull it and do some damage.
Well, this ball's in the air to center field. Herrera will make the catch. Rayburn goes halfway. He'll come back. 1 out. Dahl, before that at bat, hitting .412 left on left. Another impressive stat for him. Here's Nick Hundley coming up. Join in on the conversation. Send us your thoughts, photos, questions, statements. Use Twitter or Instagram and include the hashtag Toyota Talk. Get to as many of your Twitter Talk comments throughout the ball game. Tony Walters got the start last night, and he had an impactful game. Tony, a walk, a single, and a home run to make it 4-3 in the 6th inning. All the momentum had swung to the Rockies dugout after that inning, that 6th against Jared Eichhoff. Unfortunately, that was it offensively for Colorado. The bullpen of the Phillies shut down the Rockies, 3 1/3 scoreless. Genmar Gomez ultimately picked off his 30th save, despite the Rockies putting a threat together in the 9th.
The Rockies this season are 14-19 against left-handed pitching, and last night, not only was Tony Walters making an impact, Daniel Descalso, Carlos Gonzalez, between the 3 of them, they were 6 for 13 with 2 homers. And they're on the bench today because they're all left-handed bats.
And in the case of Cargo, it has more to do with trying to keep that ankle from flaring up. I mean, in a normal situation, obviously Cargo's in there every day. It's really remarkable with Cargo's time off. He's still cranking out hits. 2 sharp hits yesterday, the single and the double off the left field wall. This is hitting the air to fairly deep right field. Pretty good carry off the bat to the warning track, actually with a step of the wall before it's hauled in by Altair. This ballpark is short in right and left field, and usually when you see ballparks that are, say, 330-ish down the line, 329 down the left field line, 330 down the right field line, they'll go out pretty dramatically and the gaps will be big. Not the case here. 374 in left field is very inviting. It's not altogether deeper in right field. That's why this place relinquishes a fair number of home runs. Here's Parra with 2 outs. Rayburn still at first.
All the great runs that the Phillies had coming in here, no lead felt safe. Jimmy Rollins leading off, Chase Utley behind him, Jason Worth and Ryan Howard. Looking at this lineup,
they had a really diverse lineup in that they can play long ball with you, but they had great athletes who could really run. Shane Victorino. I mean, in the prime, some of those guys you mentioned, obviously J-Roll could really run. Jason Worth could run, as you know.
Aaron Rowan in center field, great center fielder, ended up being close to a batting title.
They just ran that footage about an inning ago of Aaron Rowan making that great catch, running into the wall and breaking his nose. 1-1, and it's now 1-2 on Parra. Gerardo just 1 for 14 on this trip. That's the other thing you wanted to take advantage of, Spilly, last night. You got some production down in the bottom third of the lineup. Descalso throws out the 2-run home run. Tony Walters, we talked about. And that's back up the middle, a base hit. So Parra moves Rayburn to second, and that'll bring up Christian Adames.
That's good to see Parra. He's taking a little bit better quality at bats. We saw it 2 nights ago on Friday night, making sure it looked like he was taking pitches. We know he'll put the ball in play. You see the curveball out over the plate. Parra's able to stay back and shoot it right back up the middle. In a day where you don't have Carlos Gonzalez, you're going to need some offense from different players today.
Christian Adames has 38 at bats, righty this year. 8 hits, a .211 batting average. He's got 99 at bats from the left side, but hitting just 182 lefty.
And he's 2 for 28 with runners in scoring position this season. It's .71 batting average.
Two strikes on Adames. Always tough to stay sharp, period, if you don't play every day, but especially if you're a switch hitter. I mean, so then you get a spot start, maybe it's a pinch hitting appearance, and Christian gets a lot of those. You start looking, you go, man, I haven't hit righty in a game in 3 weeks. Walt knows all about that, Walt Weiss. Great story Walt was telling me the other day about when he became a switch hitter in high school in Suffern, New York. He wasn't a switch hitter. He goes to Carolina, and he was committed to becoming a switch hitter. And Mike Roberts, longtime coach at Carolina at the time, Brian Roberts' dad, Brian had a great run in the big leagues. He said, no, that's fine. He goes, I understand it. And he said, Walt, he said, back then in fall ball, you played games. And he said, I was awful. He said, I don't know if I had a hit left-handed the fall of my freshman year. He'd never done it before. I mean, he's taking a lot of dry swings. He's working his tail off at it. And now he's trying to make an impression and everything, but and they hung in there with him, and he ends up in the spring. I think he was second team all ACC shortstop, and he hung in there lefty, and he got better and better. And one of the ways he did is he said it'd be midnight, 1 in the morning, and he would go to the stadium, and he was always calling Coach Roberts to open up the stadium, and he lived in a dorm right beyond the center field wall. And finally, Coach Roberts, and he told him this recently, he said, you're the only guy I've ever given the key to the stadium to, ever, in my coaching career. He trusted Walt, and he was tired of getting up in the middle of the night to open it up for him, so he gave Walt a key, and Walt would go in there with one of his teammates, and he'd hit lefty all night long to improve his left-handed swing. It paid off.
Yes, it did. Paid off handsomely. You bring up an interesting point for a utility player like Adames, who is a switch hitter. You almost feel better off, and even though it helps him because you'll get certain matchups, like today he gets the matchup over Descalso because he can hit right-handed. But to your point, you're almost better off hitting on the side that you're stronger with.
And this ball's on the ground to second. Why, you'd probably be more comfortable. Rockies had a hit and a walk. They'll leave 2 on, middle of 2, no score in Philadelphia.
Philadelphia down by the dugout. You know, it's 106 out here. That's what the heat index is saying. So Ryan Rayburn, the veteran, was a little surprised to find himself in the starting lineup at first base today. It's his first start for the Rockies. He has now played 53 innings at that position. He said the last time he started there, well, it was back in May of 2010 when he was playing with Detroit. But he doesn't have an error at first base. And he said today, I warned the guys, I'm going to be over there, but I'm using Mark Reynolds' glove. He's had a lot of success there this year with that glove, so perhaps I can have a little luck with that. He said he has been taking grounders, but just on Friday. They were targeting perhaps for him to get a start on Tuesday against the Nationals. So again, a bit surprised today, but so far handling it just fine.
He's doing just fine. And you know what? He's an athlete, and Ryan has fun with everything he does. He brings a smile to the ballpark every day. He's been at it a while. He's 35, so you know, going to see the lineup card, say, oh, playing first base day. At this point in his career, probably nothing's going to shock him.
He began his career as a second baseman with the Tigers. He's a middle infielder by trade. I'm sure he'll be able to handle first base just fine.
He'll be okay.
Just have to make sure you stretch when the ball starts coming to you, not before.
Don't go early. Ryan Howard rolls out. Here's the big catcher, Cameron Rupp. And that fastball just off the plate. Tyler Chatwood, a 1-2-3 first, couple of strikeouts. Chatwood looking for his 11th victory. Just his second career start. There's a strike in Philadelphia. That sounded like, it wasn't, but it sounded like Charlie Manuel, didn't it?
Who's here?
And Charlie, yeah, Charlie's here. I've chatted briefly with him this morning. Oh, wow. You don't expect to see that. Nolan got to it. He's about to spin and throw out Rupp. And he dropped the baseball. He was asked this morning if any of the recent errors, and he was perfect for what, almost 4 months, if any of the recent errors, and that is an error, had anything to do with his, you know, offensive roller coaster of late. And he said no. He said, you know, I'm trying to do something to help our team win every day, and I know that's something that I can always do. So he refused to attach any of the defensive, I don't want to call them issues, but recent miscues to the offense. But he's going to be hot right now because that's an easy play for him. Just kind of falls in place with what we've witnessed the last 10 days. There's been an element of sloppy baseball virtually every day, whether it be defensive miscues, bullpen meltdowns, more walks by the starting pitchers. There's always been something. There haven't been many totally clean games.
Well, there's something behind there when you talk about the walks. There's definitely been a gigantic increase in walks in the last 9 games. 41 walks during that time frame. And just to put it in perspective, the previous games where the Rockies went 7-2, they only had 29 walks during that time frame. It was a little bit more than 2.9 walks per 9, and it's ballooned to 4.7. You wonder why the Rockies lost last night, out hitting a Philadelphia Phillies team. Well, part of it has to do with walks. When you're giving up home runs with free passes, that's how you're going to get those extra runs.
Two strikes on Odubel Herrera. Herrera not in the starting lineup against the lefty Anderson last night because he's really scuffled against lefties. This is line, but right at Dahl. 2 gone. That'll bring up Freddie Galvis.
First 10,000 fans through the gates for the Rockies versus Nationals game on August 17th will receive a coupon for a Hebrew National dollar hot dog. Yum, yum, yum.
Galvis takes a strike. Well, to illustrate further what you were talking about, Spilly, with no runners on base, the Rockies have allowed the third fewest home runs. But with traffic, it's the 11th most. And given your choice, I think we'd all prefer to see a solo home run if we're going to see a home run against, as opposed to a home run with folks on base. In July, the Rockies were outstanding in not handing out free passes, and so far the first half of August, they've gone the other direction, averaging just under 5 walks a game over their last 9, and they're 2-7 in their last 9. Previous 9, they were averaging under 3 walks per 9. 3 balls and a strike right now on Galvis.
That all has to do with clean baseball. And you talk what clean baseball is little things. Make sure you hit the cutoff, man. You don't let a base runner take an extra base. Try not to make errors. Try not to walk anybody.
And it's got to be in every element. And that's a walk. 2 on now, and that'll bring up Paredes, the switch hitting utility player, getting a rare start. Paredes with his 3rd different big league team this year: Baltimore, Toronto, and now Philadelphia. Said this when we saw him in Denver. Jimmy Paredes, when you first set eyes on him in Houston, you thought this guy has a chance to be a terrific player.
Switch hitter.
Got some pop.
Has some pop. Can play a corner spot. Can play at third base for you. 60 games started in the big leagues at third.
Athletic guy.
Yeah. He's played second base. It's almost 20 starts as a second baseman.
It's at the deep second. It's going to sneak through, coming to get the baseballs. Well, that's interesting. There's Parra. He went to third with it, not home. I don't know if he would have had a shot at Rupp, but Rupp's a catcher running. That was odd. And it's 1-0, and Philadelphia takes advantage of that error.
Well, Paredes gets it right past DJ LeMahieu, and Parra never looks at home, and maybe he's thinking, just based on how far he had to run to his right, that he wasn't going to have a shot at Cameron Rupp. He also knows that Freddie Galvis loves to take extra bases.
Morgan gets thrown out to end the inning. Take a look at that play again when we come back. But an error by Arenado, then a walk, and Philadelphia takes advantage. I run up those steps all the time to Philadelphia Art Museum. It is amazing how many people still do that and then stand at the top and do the raised fist looking back down Ben Franklin. Philadelphia takes a 1-0 lead as they take advantage of not only the miscue by Nolan, but the walk that followed it. And then it was interesting as Chatwood will lead off here in the third that Parra fired right to third base. Billy, you played right field before. Take us through that situation.
You got to pay attention where Gerardo Parra is standing. And a lot of times, if you're traveling too far to the right, you're just going to let the ball take you to third base, and knowing that Freddie Galvis is going to try to go first to third on you. The problem is you have Cameron Rupp, who's not a fast catcher, and Gerardo Parra, this isn't a very deep outfield. You have a shot where you just throw it in towards the first baseman and let the first baseman make the decision on whether you're going to cut it off or not. It's an easy fly out to right field by Tyler Chatwood. And so there's different things. Number one, if you're just trying to throw out Freddie Galvis to throw him out, I get what you're doing. But if you're not thinking along the lines of the game, fire into home plate and let Rayburn make that decision, because if there's a chance to get him out at home, it's a 0-0 game.
Yeah, and you know, he had to run a little bit toward his right. It wasn't dramatic, though. And it wasn't Peter Borges running where you say, okay, he's going to score standing up, no shot. One out. Blackman reached on an error by the center fielder Herrera. Rockies could not take advantage in the first inning. Charlie 11 for 20, a .550 average on this road trip that began in Texas. Rockies just 1-3. Charlie hit a home run at Arlington also, so he's got 4 home runs on the trip. Leading the big leagues in hits in August with 23.
Well, Charlie's worn out a lot of different teams, but he has worn out this Philadelphia Phillies team. 11 for 27. It's just a hair over 400.
Line shot and another base hit for Blackman. And Charlie's going to try to long stride it into second. He's going to be out. One out. Charlie trying to force the action, and he gets cut down.
Have an inning, Jimmy Paredes. The base hit. Good piece of hitting by Charlie to shoot it down the left field line. Maybe challenge this one. You see Charlie, wow,
he never got in there.
He did get in there.
He never tagged him. That's terrible. It's good for the Rockies. This is terrible. What kind of effort is this?
What is that? That's Charlie's ninja popping out of him right there. He's going to end up being safe at second with a double.
But you got to stick your nose in there with the tag.
Yeah, that's...
What kind of technique is this? He's holding it a 1.5 foot off the ground.
Well, Charlie's going to be 12 for 28 now against the Phillies, upping his average up well over 400. Jimmy Paredes in left field was hooting and hollering after making a great throw to throw out Charlie Blackman. Had him by at least, what,
oh, you know
8,
what?
10 feet?
He may, you know, in that close-up, he may have tagged him on that foot.
No way. On the top?
Well,
no.
Right on. They have a better view of it on the Jumbotron. See if this is the same view they just saw. This may be it.
Oh, I don't think so.
You know what? He whiffed on it. On the Jumbotron, it looks like he tagged him.
All right, he swung through it.
But again, from a technique standpoint,
it's awful.
It's terrible. See, that's the one that visually looks like he tagged him, but the other angle shows that he did.
Infielders are taught
this is the definitive angle.
You put the glove into the dirt right in front of the bag, and you let the fielder slide into it. Try to just tag him wherever you want.
What's he doing? Looks like he's stirring soup with his glove. Come on, man. Put the glove on the dirt.
Put your nose in there.
Safe.
That's right.
There you go. Double for Blackmon.
Dude, Blackie.
So Charlie's been involved with 2 today already, reviews. One on a stolen base where he was initially called safe, and then they changed it. Now he's initially called out on a stretch double, and they said, nope, you're actually safe. So the Rockies with 1 out have Blackmon in scoring position. And for Blackmon, that is his 25th double of the year. DJ, like Charlie's had a big road trip. David Dahl, I feel like Charlie Blackmon is very underrated. He is. So's the guy at the plate, LeMahieu. DJ 7 for 16 on the trip. Only 2 guys in the National League hitting higher. We'll see those 2 tomorrow. Second baseman Daniel Murphy of the Nationals, catcher Wilson Ramos of the Nationals. Washington leading at home 3-1 over Atlanta. See the trio the Rockies are going to get from the Nationals: Max Scherzer, Gio Gonzalez, Steven Strasburg. Talcott.
Bring it. That's the way you have to look at it. When you're a hitter, you go, bring it. Sweet. I want to face that guy.
LeMahieu 2 for 4 in his matchups with Adam Morgan. Morgan out of the University of Alabama. Line drive, right field, fair ball. That'll tie it up. And DJ's going to have his own double. He is something else. 1-1 ball game. Blackmon and LeMahieu strike again.
I looked up prior to today's game where DJ ranks in hard hit baseballs. Batted balls over 100 miles an hour, and in baseball right now he's 8th. On the Rockies versus left-handed pitching, he's number 1. That inside out swing, and with power, driving it down the right field line. Such a great approach against a lefty that's going to try to mix in a cutter inside, a changeup to get you to roll a pitch over. But with DJ, it doesn't matter because he's sitting back. He's allowing that ball to travel and using his hands to get inside the baseball. He keeps his barrel in the zone for so long, which allows him to hit the ball so hard.
Nolan drives this ball to right center field. Going back, Herrera still going back near the wall, leaps and he makes a catch. And DJ was 2/3 of his way to third base because there was 1 out. Now goes back to second. So Nolan gave it a ride and Herrera made a nice play.
Very nice play by Herrera. Looks like he's going to pay for it. Jumping into the wall. Great jump. You see how much ground he's covering. Knowing that right center wall is right there. Pay attention where he hurts his ankle. And after making an error earlier today with Charlie Blackmon, he's watching that baseball into his glove. I think he rolled his ankle.
Ryan Rayburn at the plate. Rayburn trying to get out of a slump that has produced just a 147 average his last 20 appearances. He worked out a walk his first time. Rockies have tied it at 1. Back-to-back doubles here in the third by Blackmon and LeMahieu. And a line drive, but it'll be caught by Hernandez to end the inning. So we go to the bottom of the third. The Rockies won and the Phillies won from hot and humid Citizens Bank Park.
Baseball, and we looked last night at the ejection of Tyler Anderson. The crew chief, Gary Cederstrom, commenting after the game that the pitcher was ejected for intentionally throwing at the hitter. It wasn't anything that was said, it was the pitch. You have three options. You can choose to do nothing and play on, issue a warning, or eject. And Eric chose ejection. Of course, talking about Eric Cooper, who was the home plate umpire last night. So those were the reasonings. We asked Tyler Anderson after the game. We asked Walt Weiss if it had anything to do with the words that were said, and all of them said no. It was strictly the hit by pitch after a home run.
I'm still shaking my head.
Yeah, I'm not entirely buying that, because look at this footage. Watch Eric Cooper, pitch hits him. 1/1000, 2/1000, 3/1000.
After a
4/1000.
gesture towards the bench.
Almost 5 full seconds. And it was after a discussion, if you will, between Anderson and the Phillies bench. It was not immediate that he threw him out. And so for me, I think it had to do with he's still making up his mind, where had he immediately warned both sides. I get it, doesn't look good. Walt acknowledged, doesn't look good. Tyler Anderson acknowledged, doesn't look good.
First pitch after a home run, you square a guy up. Okay, I get it.
Well, I think that's the frustrations too, as Walt said after the game. We don't hit people because they hit home runs. And you could tell the frustration in the dugout. There were no warnings issued. You have to issue a warning. I just don't feel like the way the game was going that you could sit there and point and say, you're out. We counted before the game. 5 seconds is what it took the umpire, Eric Cooper, to toss him from the game. Yep. He looked at the direction of Tyler. He looked at the direction of the dugout before making the call.
Let me ask you, Ryan, to pick up on what Jenny's saying. As a player, yeah, you hit a home run, next thing you know you get hit. And you got hit down low. This is a tough play by Chatwood, making like Arenado, but he throws the ball away. Parra's going to have to come get it. Altair to second. Probably be a base hit and an error on Chatwood, the Rockies' second of the ball game.
Well, it would have been a sweet play if you finished it off, but this is a pretty difficult play for anybody, let alone a pitcher. Getting off the mound, really swinging bunt, he barehands and fadeaway into the dugout, tries to make a great throw. I don't think Nolan really has a shot on that one, even though Nolan has a shot at pretty much anything. Out there can run. That guy is an athlete. Chatty was probably better off just holding on to the baseball and letting him have an infield single.
That's what it is. It's an infield single and an E1. So Maikel Franco, who we've been discussing basically, is at the plate. But would it have not have achieved the same thing if Eric Cooper immediately warned both sides? Would it have not dissipated the situation?
It would have been the same thing without losing his starting pitcher. That's why if you're throwing up and in, if you're going upstairs, if the first pitch is upstairs or behind a guy's back and you see it, you're throwing at the head or whatever, I get that, okay. But a cutter at your feet, come on. And talking to Tyler Anderson today, I said, you know, what about that pitch? And he said he went back to the video and watched Franco, and he was standing right on the inside line, getting on top of the plate, trying to take away the changeup. And so Tyler wanted to go inside and move his feet.
Yeah, he said last night that was exactly what the video had shown him from the prior time that they matched up with Philly at home, and that's what he had learned about him. So I don't think it was intentional at all. It was intentional because that's where he wanted the pitch to go, not because he wanted to hit it.
Yeah, exactly. You see where Franco's standing, back foot is it's pretty tight to home plate. And so Tyler Anderson's just trying to get him to move the feet. That's why you need Tyler Chatwood tonight to go deep into the game to save the bullpen.
Ground ball to third. Tough chance for Arenado. He knocks it down. High throw. Great. Oh, man, it came out. Rayburn made a great play to spin and tag, but it came out. And that's going to be another error on Nolan. The Rockies have 3 errors now in 3 games. Or 3 innings.
In between hop to Nolan at third base, the ball's hit a lot of top spin, as it typically is off Chatty. You see the hop it takes in. Nolan doing what he does. You smother the baseball, does not get a good grip. Makes an errant throw, and even Rayburn with the swipe tag has him out.
Six errors in the series, 3 on Friday night, 3 here on Sunday afternoon. You're forcing Chatwood on a brutally hot day to throw more pitches. And the more pitches he throws, the less likely he can go really deep in the game. You understand the ramifications. Now you have a hot hitter up there, the veteran Ryan Howard. And this kicks away, and the double play's taken out of order. Went off Nick Conley. That'll be a wild pitch. It's a disaster. It's bad baseball. There's no other way to describe what you're looking at right now other than bad baseball.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Slider down and away. Nick Hunley with the backhand. Chatty's going to try to settle himself down.
Well, that's the right move. You got to put Howard on now and set up the possibility of a double play with Rupp coming up.
And Chatwood has 18 double plays, which ranks 4th in the National League. So it's a smart play on the Rockies' part using Tyler Chatwood's strengths, but you're kicking the ball all around the yard.
And from unlikely sources, too.
No, I mean, I get it.
You know, Nolan had that one questionable error for almost 4 months. He almost played errorless baseball for 4 months. And he's made 7 errors in the last 20 ball games. He's still the best we've ever seen. It's just a rough patch, and it's reared its head today. See if Chatwood can take care of his buddy at third, getting a ground ball here with Rupp at the plate. Rupp hit the ball on 2 hops that Nolan didn't handle. He caught it and then trying to pull it out of his glove, dropped it. That was last inning. And that pitch misses 1-0. 1-1 ball game, bottom of 3. Chatwood has induced 18 ground ball double plays. And it shouldn't be a surprise. He has one of the highest ground ball rates in the sport. Thomas and LeMahieu poised to turn 2 up the middle. Ground ball to first. Rayburn will come home safe. 2-1. In that situation, you have a little bit of time. You do in Japan playing first. Isn't that's where he's playing? That's 3-6-3 territory, isn't it?
You have to try, and I think as soon as the ball kicked up, and granted, Ryan Rayburn's blocked by Ryan Howard at first. As soon as that ball pops up, you still have time with Howard going to second.
That's where his inexperience came out, because he's still got plenty of time.
The two slowest runners on the Phillies are the guys running towards second and towards first.
The fastest guy in the Phillies clubhouse is the guy at third, and that's the guy you tried to get. You had still all day to get Howard. And again, it's inexperience. It's been hard to watch. This is
and that's
not
why,
what you. This is not Major League.
No, and that's why Walt came out there and he's trying to settle down Chatwood. Chatty was yelling quite a bit at his glove right after that play. The unfortunate part for the Rockies is that it's all right. You're down 1. It's the 3rd inning. And you're still 1 pitch away from getting out of this.
A little bit more difficult now with Herrera, who runs much better. He had the perfect combination. You got a ground ball. Even with the initial bobble on the tough hop, Rayburn had time to, at the very least, get the out at second, and still probably a decent possibility you turn it over with Rupp running out of the right side of the box. So many other factors there also. You're talking about, instead of a 110-foot throw based on where he's playing. Where he's playing, you're set to go to second. This is a 50-foot throw now, or 70-foot throw. Right here, go to second. The kid running can fly.
Flies. And the kid hitting right now in Odubel Herrera, he flies as well, and in 428 at-bats, only 1 double play.
They're trying to hunt a strikeout. Strike 3 on the inside corner.
There you go.
And he may get run for that.
How do you not get thrown out?
How do you not get thrown out for breaking your bat in disgust at the call by the umpire?
He kicked the bat weight on the way down.
That's shocking he didn't get run for that.
We've seen Charlie Blackmon get tossed out at Coors Field. We've seen other people do less than that. Unless Adrian thought he didn't get the call right. Either way, it's a strikeout for the Rocks.
Freddie Galvis swings and misses.
Still have a chance to get out of it.
Usually the quickest tickets, Billy, right, to get run is showing up the umpire. If that's not showing up the umpire, 1-1. You think with the heat, umpires would have a short fuse. 1-1.
Odubel on the MLB.GameDay app. It's a strike.
You know, there was one other place, and I don't know if there's any correlation, where Nolan had trouble. Baltimore, Manny Machado on the other side. Here in Philadelphia, you have Mike Schmidt here all weekend. This is Dahl in left field. This should end the mess. Whoa.
Almost.
Yeah, I mean, he caught that below his waist. Even that wasn't textbook. 2-1. Philadelphia takes advantage of sloppy baseball. Zach Greinke today? What? Well, he's back and he's gone because he went 1 2/3, 9 runs on 10 hits at Fenway. Yeah, I think wow sums that up. David Dahl will lead off the 4th inning. Wow sums up, and not a good wow.
No,
sums
ball.
up the defensive portion of the 3rd inning for the Rockies. That was awful. And you're going to make some physical errors, but the collective miscues and not thinking their way through plays had to make that man, well, we know how mad it made him because he went out to the mound in the middle of the inning. There's a base hit for Dahl.
Gosh, he's good. There's so many things he does well. It's almost a left-handed version of DJ LeMahieu. Slider down and away, and just able to sit back on the baseball and drive it the opposite field. Ryan Howard's saying that's a nice swing, man.
You're pretty good. What's your name again?
David Dahl.
You know, Matt Carasetti had a great story for us yesterday after he made his major league debut. He looks in at the hitter and he says, "Oh my goodness," he goes, "That's Ryan Howard."
That was a great story.
Wasn't that a great story? He said, "You know, I played video games with Ryan Howard. I always loved watching Ryan Howard." And he goes, "Now I'm facing Ryan Howard." It's a surreal moment for Matt Carasetti. He had to get his focus right. Say, okay, I'm on the same field. It's my job to get him out. Scott Oberg on the right, Matt Carasetti on the left. And Howard ended up getting a base hit off of Carasetti. He actually made a good pitch. That was the kind of bleeder he hit the other way to left field against the shift. 2-0 on Hundley. Nick hit the ball to deep right his first time up, almost to the wall. Both runs for the Phillies are unearned runs. got to see if Morgan's all right. That was scary. Right back at him. A base hit. 2 on.
I'm not sure if it was the initial line drive off his hand that hurt him or the awkward fall onto the mound after he was hit. Adam Morgan had shoulder surgery in 2014. It's his wrist.
Yeah, he's out. I mean, the reaction he made right there when the trainer touched his hand.
That's too bad for Morgan.
Yeah.
This guy's
got back.
This guy's been grinding. 1-6 with a 6.65 ERA before getting sent down. Goes to the minor leagues and works some stuff out. His last 5 games, 4 starts, ended up 5-0. He's gonna try to stay in.
Nope. No, he's got to come out. Yep, you hate to see that.
Yeah, you don't like seeing that, especially you know how much this guy's worked in the last couple of years to just get himself on the field.
He got himself right going down to AAA Lehigh Valley. Gets another start today, and he has to depart. Turn to Severino Gonzalez now after the injury to starter Adam Morgan on that hard comebacker off the bat of Nick Hundley. Line drive caught him on the pitching hand. You know what? It may have been higher up, like you said, Spilly. Here's something to keep in mind. There's only one left-hander in the bullpen for Philadelphia, Araujo. And the Rockies went with his right-handed a lineup as they could put together against Adam Morgan. Does Walt Weiss now at some point summarily switch some guys out? Ben Paulson for Rayburn. Obviously, you know, in fairness to Ryan, he's playing out of position. First start at first base in 6 years, just 4th career start. You have Descalso, who swung the bat well last night. He can go in at short. I'm not saying he's going to do that, but it's certainly probably running through the minds, the collective minds of Walt Weiss and Tommy Runnels, his bench coach.
You're going to try to protect your lineup just to make sure you don't pull too many guys out of the lineup that.
And then you have nobody for later on.
Nobody later for, exactly.
You see if he maybe picks a spot, knowing that just like they're heavily left-handed with the bat, the Phillies now are heavily right-handed with their arms. 4th inning, 2 on. Gerardo Parra singled up the middle his first time. Rockies down a run. And again, with nobody out, a chance to do some damage. A balk's called on Gonzalez. I think that's how he wanted to begin his outing.
You know, bad baseball is contagious. It can go both ways. Let's see what Severino does. Can't do that. Can't start your motion and then start it up again.
Billy, you always talk about nobody out, first and second situations. Just took a huge weight off of Gerardo Parra and changed this at bat considerably, didn't he?
It makes it so much easier because I typically ask for bunts in first and second, nobody out. It's the only time in baseball where giving up an out increases your probability of scoring a run. It's the only time. And for Gerardo, now a ground ball to second base. And this is the beauty of baseball. If you're playing quality baseball and good fundamental baseball, a ground ball to second base gets you a run scored with an out, moves another base runner up, and you're able to score runs without getting hits. And that's the type of baseball. If you're playing good, clean baseball and you're able to manufacture runs without hits, you're in the perfect situation right now to put the ball in play 2 times with Parra and Adames, and outs will get runs in.
1-2. And this is not going to get the job done. 1 out. One out. Christian Adames coming up. Folks, when the Rockies score 7 runs or more in any game, make your way to participating Colorado Taco Bell locations the next day. Make sure you do it between 4 and 6 in the afternoon to receive your Rockies taco special. Drew Goodman, Ryan Spilborghs, Jenny Kavnar from the bank, Citizens Bank Park, where the Phillies in the 4th lead the Rockies 2-1. An empty at bat from Parra. That won't sit well with him. And Adames 0 for 1 comes up. Dahl at 3rd, Hundley at 2nd. Dahl with the great speed. Any medium range fly ball brings him home, but there's 2 kinds of get him in work that you do in batting practice, Billy. One's with the infield in, one's with the infield back. With the infield back, there's plenty of places you can go with the baseball.
Hit it as hard as you want on the ground. That's your swing path that you try to choose. With nobody out, infield back.
1 ball, 1 strike.
Biggest thing is you're trying not to change your swing. You don't. It's hard to change mechanically at the plate. So what you have to do is set your sights on different pitches that you're looking for. In a situation like this, if you're Christian Adames, you're trying to get a fly ball to the outfield, and again, the Phillies are playing infield back. You look for a pitch middle, and you try to take your good swing down through the baseball.
Christian takes a good swing. That's one of those examples we were talking about with Nolan earlier. That's a pitch, if you ask Christian right now, ran down there and interviewed him, say, that's a ball I want to put in play. And instead, now he's upside down 1 and 2 because he fouled it off. Works to a pitcher's count. 1 out, 2nd and 3rd. And he gets the job done. Safe at first. Christian with a leg hit and an RBI to tie it up. We say this so frequently. Get the ball in play. You never know what will happen. In this situation, just getting it in play guaranteed the Rockies were going to get a run once it cleared the pitcher.
Baseball is a game of inches, and today before the game started, the field crew had to put a lot of water in front of home plate just because of the heat. That ball didn't bounce too hard off of the home plate, but just hard enough that it was able to get over Gonzalez.
No review. An infield hit for Adames, his 11th RBI. And now Chatwood. They go slug bunt here. Hundley at third. Adames with average speed at first.
All three outfielders for the Philadelphia Phillies today have above average arm strength. Altair has a very good arm in right field. We saw Paredes in left field already today throw out Charlie Blackmon, only to have it overturned.
Nothing on as we pitch out. Got some options here. Chatwood swings the bat decently.
Tyler Chatwood is the most clutch player for the Rockies at the
runner going, and the bunt is not handled. Now Adames will try to get in a rundown, and Hundley couldn't break as Galvis tagged him out. Stop too late on the read.
Trying to figure out what went wrong. If there was a squeeze, if Adames thought it was a squeeze play.
Rose is a caught stealing. 2-6. 1-2 at the plate on Chatwood. Take us through what
I was trying to get to this number, and Chatwood's the most clutch hitter on the Rockies team with the .417 batting average, runners in scoring position.
Take us through Adames and his role there. He's looking back.
If you're trying to steal the run, you need to stop halfway. If you think you're going to be safe at second base, you go ahead and slide and take the base.
Rockies get one back. They had second and third, nobody out. 2-2 as we go to the bottom of the fourth. Rockies victory. Get 50% off your online order at Papa John's. Use the promo code ROCKSWIN at papajohns.com. Rockies make a change at first base. They bring in Daniel Descalso in a 2-2 ball game. So Adames will go out, or excuse me, Adames will go out. Rayburn will go out. Descalso, he becomes the experienced first baseman.
Yeah, a couple games there this year too.
Same
but
glove,
you accomplish
right?
a couple of things if you're
yeah,
Walt.
that's right, Jenny.
You do get a little more experience at first base, and you get a left-handed bat.
Well, you do, but you also are using the same glove, which is important because it's Mark Reynolds' glove that's being passed around the clubhouse.
Hold on,
there's
one problem with the same glove today, is that it's already soaking wet.
Yeah, it's gross, right?
And it's probably going to feel gross.
Well, the good thing is Rayburn was wearing a glove. Could leave it at first base for Ryan Howard, but it wouldn't be a lot of help for Ryan.
No, he's lefty. Well, so far for the Rockies and the Phillies, both sides have played a very sloppy game. It is 106 degrees index on the field, but still no excuse for several of the mental mistakes we've seen so far.
Paredes had a base hit to drive in the first run. Again, both runs unearned against Tyler Chatwood. So that pristine league-leading ERA of 1.30 coming in has gone down. I don't think he cares about that right now. He's trying to get his team a much-needed victory. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Paredes with Severino Gonzalez on deck. And it's 3-2. Chatwood can put together one of those quick innings after being extended because of the errors in the last 2. He had a 1-2-3 first, dominant first inning, 2 strikeouts and a little comebacker. 3-2 on Paredes, and that's in the air to fairly deep center field. Blackman going back, and it's gone. Jimmy Paredes puts Philadelphia back in front. 4th home run this year.
Bit of a shock hitting a home run off Tyler Chatwood. Came into today's game with .66 home runs per 9. That was 5th best in the National League. That now is his 10th home run he's given up this season, but Paredes throughout the at-bat was taking very healthy cuts against Tyler Chatwood.
Severino Gonzalez with a ground out to second. One out and a run in, 3-2 Philadelphia. I'll bring up Cesar Hernandez at the top of the order. I believe that's just the 2nd road home run allowed this year by Chatwood.
This Phillies team has hit a home run in 9 straight baseball games. That's a season high for them.
It's 2 home runs on the road this year. And we're talking about August the 14th in 10 starts against Chatwood. 2-0 on Hernandez, and it's 3-0 on Hernandez. Nowhere close. Chatwood doing his best Jake Peavy, barking at himself. That's 3 walks allowed, 1 intentional.
You can see Tyler Chatwood. That's what makes him so unique. Why guys love playing behind him. You see the emotion he wears on his sleeve, and at times it can get a little on the high side. Walt had to come and calm him down earlier.
Aaron Altaire's at the plate. Cesar Hernandez has now reached in 21 straight ball games. Strikeout and an infield single for Altair. He's factored offensively in all 3 ball games this weekend for Philadelphia. He got healthy after wrist surgery, and Pete Mackanin said, "Welcome back. You're going to hit in the middle of the order." It's not like he had a long track record in the big leagues. Philadelphia kind of remaking their club. And Pete Mackanin's done a terrific job. They've outperformed what most prognosticators had them doing this year. Runner going, throw by Hundley, not going to get him. A stolen base for Hernandez. Philadelphia continues to run consistently in the second half, and with success consistently. A departure from what they did in the first half.
Part of the reason why you want to keep Hernandez off the base is because his ability to steal, first couple steps are really explosive. He steals it off Tyler Chatwood. More importantly, that stolen base takes the double play out for Chatwood, even with Altair, who runs extremely well.
Like yesterday, that pitch misses. The Rockies have out-hit the Phillies 2-1, but they trail by a run. I would say 2-1, not literally 2-1, but mathematically 6 hits to 3.
Our last pitch for Chatwood was in the Subaru strike zone.
That pitch looked like it was close also, and that was in the Subaru strike zone. Last 2, I guess it's a 5 strike at bat for Altair. Yeah,
make it 6.
He got him on the 6th. So the count goes to 3 and 6. When you get to 3 and 6, you usually got to go away.
Yeah, you got to go.
2 outs, and that'll bring up Franco. 3 strikeouts in the ball game for Tyler Chatwood.
Jenny, you want to read this?
You can go. It's an Air Force one.
Okay. Sunday, August 21st is Air Force Academy Day. Falcon fans can purchase a special ticket package to receive a limited edition Air Force Academy themed Rockies hat.
Colorado State hat giveaway was very successful.
For you.
For all Ram fans. See if the Falcon fans can show up. Should be fun.
I think I shorted Chatwood a strikeout. That was number 4. Franco's 0 for 2. Did reach on an error in the 3rd. Phillies up 3-2. Rockies trying to avoid the sweep. The Nats, who are heading to Denver after their ball game at home against Atlanta, are now putting it on the Braves. 7-1 they lead. Well,
for the season, Tyler Chatwood averages about 4 walks per 9. It's not uncommon for him to have several walks throughout the start just because of the sinker.
Yeah, usually lives to tell about it because of the number of ground ball double plays he gets. And he just walked his 4th. And now you got to deal with Ryan Howard. No walks in his last outing against Texas. Steve Foster will come out. walked a guy in Franco who was 7 for his previous 46 at the plate. One other note from baseball, this is currently going on. The Mets at Citi Field leading the Padres 2-0. Steven Matz has a no-hitter through 7 innings. The Mets, with all of the glorious pitching they've had in 54 years, now 55th season, have had 1 no-hitter. And you've had Ryan, you've had Seaver, you've had Matlack and Kuzman and Doc Gooden, and a long list of great pitchers for the Mets. They've had 1 no-hitter. Matz has a no-hitter right now through 7. Ryan Howard with 2 on. This is lifted to center field. Routine play. Charlie's waiting. He's got it to end the inning. There was a home run from Jimmy Paredes, and Philadelphia has the lead again, 3-2. We're off to the 5th, top of the order when we come back. On Root Sports is brought to you by Subaru. Love, it's what makes a Subaru a Subaru. By CenturyLink, your link to what's next. By Tavern Downtown. Visit Tavern Downtown after Rockies home games and get 2-for-1 draft beers with your same-day ticket. And by Jack in the Box. For a limited time, taste the all-new Jack's Brewhouse Bacon Burger at participating Jack in the Box restaurants. Beautiful and historic Philadelphia on a hot, muggy day, which has been the story all weekend. And the Rockies have not played good baseball here in Philadelphia. Plenty of time left, down a run, 3-2. Charlie Blackmon in the 5th against Severino Gonzalez, who was forced into action last frame after Adam Morgan gave up 2 hits, the second being a line drive off his left hand wrist area, and he had to come out of the ball game. Charlie lined a double in the 3rd inning down the left field line. He's also reached on an error. He has scored one of the Rockies' 2 runs. Charlie has a 9-game hitting streak going also by virtue of that base hit. One and 2. Severino Gonzalez from Panama. 2-2. Jenny talked about Charlie's splits the other day. I mean, they're almost identical. He's hitting above 320 home and road.
I think what's most impressive about it too is you man center field at Coors Field. That's a tough place to play defense each and every day, and he's been in the lineup now 96 straight times, not in the starting lineup necessarily, but made an appearance in all 96 games since he's come off the disabled list. Charlie's a grinder. We talk about Nolan being a grinder. I mean, to hit leadoff, play center field, do it in the heat like today and have production in the dog days of August. And again, the equal splits on for home road, it's very impressive.
And that 319 average was coming into today. He's 1 for 2, so he is above 320 on the road. That's extraordinary.
As we were walking out last night from Citizens Bank, we were walking out with Larry Boa. And Larry Boa, unprompted, said, "Hey, I really like that Blackman kid. Blue collar. Just brings his lunch pail."
He said the same thing to me when we were in Denver. Charlie's got a lot of fans inside the game. Got a lot of fans outside the game also, but many fans as you like that seek your autograph and your baseball card and all those things. What means the absolute most to a player, Spillier, is when you have the respect of your peers.
It's the most important part of baseball, is earning that respect from your teammates and your peers. And when somebody says you're a gamer, you're a grinder, that's the biggest compliment anybody can pay to another baseball player.
And don't forget about groomer, because he has to carry those tools as well to keep that beard sharp.
But he's an anti-groomer. I always feel bad for Charlie on hot days because I feel like that beard is disgusting.
I don't feel sorry for him. He's doing
looks
it
so
by
hot.
choice.
He looks hotter than any other player on the field, and just because of the beard.
It is a little shorter in Philly because the humidity has curled it on up a little closer to the chin.
And I'm calling.
Oh, that thing's got to be even hotter.
Looks like a member of the ZZ Top. I'm calling bunk on Jenny, saying he's grooming that thing. This ball crushed deep right. Stay fair. We have a tie game. Home run, Charlie Blackmon. He hadn't hit one since Friday.
What's wrong with him?
Unbelievable week for Blackmon, his 19th, and he ties this baseball game at 3.
What an at-bat by Charlie Blackmon, fouling off pitch after pitch, grinding through the at-bat.
Got ticked off that we were talking about his grooming habits, or lack thereof, maybe.
He's got grooming habits. It's to run around the bases. Drops the barrel on the baseball. 11th pitch of the at-bat after fouling off a tough changeup. I'm going to go out on a limb and say Charlie's probably going to be Player of the Week, National League.
Get our votes. Blackmon has just tied his career high in home runs, set 2 years ago. Last year he had 17. DJ takes a strike. LeMahieu's 1 for 2 and an RBI. And it's Batman and Robin at the top of the lineup again. Blackmon's got middle of the order numbers hitting leadoff. 19 home runs, 58 driven in, and a batting average of 323.
What makes it so great too is you have a lefty-righty mix, and they're almost opposites. DJ will drive the ball to right field, use the opposite field approach. Charlie is going to pull the baseball. When you look at some of the advanced leaderboards and some of the advanced metrics that they have, DJ LeMahieu leads all of baseball with a batting average with fastballs up in the zone. Charlie Blackmon is almost near the top on pitches down in the zone. Yin and yang.
Yin and yang. Nolan 0 for 2. He drove the ball to the wall in right center field. Herrera made a nice catch on him. Sliders in there for a strike. No more no-hitter for Steven Matz with 1 out in the 8th inning. Alexi Ramirez broke it up. Some irony there in that the Padres, with the team being no hit, they're the only team left in baseball. And they've been around a long time now. And they've had some great arms. And they've pitched in predominantly pitchers' ballparks. They have never thrown a no-hitter.
Who threw the only Mets no-hitter?
Johan Santana. Threw 148 pitches, and some will say he was never the same again after that.
I'll say that.
2-2 on Nolan. And Boy, when you're scuffling, you get swings like that. That's 6 inches off the plate. Nolan with an emergency hack, and he wasn't close to it. 2 outs. Second strikeout for Severino Gonzalez, and that'll bring up Daniel Descalso for the first time. He came in defensively last inning for Rayburn.
Descalso 2 for 4 last night with a home run. He has his nice rhythm at the plate.
This ball's well hit to the gap in right center field. Altair gets over and makes the catch off the bat. Thought that had a chance to be a gapper. Good swing from Descalso. Real good swing from Charlie Blackmon. Chuck Nasty, his 7th home run in his last 9 games. He's tied it at 3.
At 3s as we head to the bottom of the 5th. There's Charlie's beard. We want to give you an up-close look. He does groom a little bit. He has to put some conditioner in it, but I just got a text message from Mr. Blackmon that said, please tell Spilly that Charlie's mom is going to need him to take back that comment about Charlie's beard being disgusting.
Now, listen, Mrs. Blackmon, I never ever said the beard was disgusting. I said in the heat, that thing must be disgusting. That's all I said.
You said the heat makes it disgusting.
Disgusting, yes.
I
like the beard. I spent a lot of time with your son. He's awesome. He's one of my favorites.
What I heard is that you said Charlie's just disgusting.
Yeah. Okay. There. Let's just paraphrase it. Okay.
That's what
your
I heard.
son's disgusting. That's what I said. There you go. How about that?
I'm sure for every mom, it's taken her a while to come around to Charlie's beard, and she's probably finally now just okay with it. And then look what you do, Spilly. You're stirring it up.
I think what it sounded like to the Blackmon household is Spilly's talking, want, Charlie, want, disgusting. Okay, Charlie's disgusting.
That's pretty much what I heard also.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I'm with the Blackmons.
I'm sorry, Mrs. Blackmon. Myron, I'm sorry. I'll never say a disgusting word about your son again.
Just keep hitting bombs.
Just keep hitting bombs. I just said he's going to be player of the week.
That's a 4-pitch walk leading off the 5th inning that Chatwood issues to Cameron Rupp. He started out the ball game firing a ton of strikes, 5 walks, 1 intentional, and this is a revisitation of what we saw about 2 weeks ago.
You're trying to make sure you have that fastball command and not spray it all over the place, and for Chatty, sometimes you just have to let him work it out. He can't get emotional on the mound, and sometimes the game will speed up on him just because he gets upset with himself.
So many odd numbers up on that scoreboard as Odubel Herrera steps in. And that's a base hit, and it's in the gap somewhat. Herrera will stop at first, but going first to third is Rupp. And now they're 2 on, runners in the corners, and nobody out.
Herrera's a good player. Leads the team in hits, runs, walks, and stolen bases. He's the all-star for the Phillies, and normally he's hitting close to the top of the lineup, first or second. Tonight they dropped him down to the 6th spot.
That'll bring up Freddie Galvis. I was alluding to the strange numbers on the scoreboard. The Rockies in a 3-3 game, 3-7-3, 3 runs, 7 hits, 3 errors. And Philadelphia's 3 runs, only 4 hits, and an error. Last night, Philadelphia scored 6 runs on just 6 hits. They did hit 1 home run. That accounted for 3 of the runs. So Rupp, the truck at third. Herrera at first. Potential running situation. Galvis is behind 0-2.
And this would be a big,
leads the club in stolen bases with 19.
this would be a big out for Chatwood if you can get it with 3 pitches, because his pitch count's now getting elevated. And Spilly, you mentioned that concern in this heat with the starting pitcher before the game. We've seen him go 100 plus his last couple of outings, but now his 88th coming.
In tight, 1-2. And in light of that, Jordan Lyles is up. And I think every pitch today is like 1.2 pitches because of the heat. And he rips it up the middle, and the Phillies are back in front 4-3. Well, that's a real simple approach. You, Spilly just put the foot down early and really just used all hands.
That's all he was trying to do. Allowed Tyler Chatwood to supply the power. And the walk, leadoff walk, comes back to bite Chatty. That will go down as an earned run. Foot down early. Looks like a spinning slider. He tried to get him on a backdoor slider. And Galvis ends up punching it through for his 47th RBI. Well, that's not good.
We have Keith Duggar coming out. We love Doogie. We don't like to see him during the game, though. You hope, honestly, that this is more of a heat check and not any sort of injury. Now it's obviously some sort of injury, because if it's a heat check, they're not going to have him throw a pitch.
It seemed like he threw it fine.
Well, to me, I thought he was going to throw another one. Whenever you throw multiple pitches, that's not a good sign. But he's not going to throw multiple pitches. He's able to convince Keith Duggar, Walt Weiss, and Steve Foster he's okay.
And as Chatwood was walking out of the clubhouse last night, Chatwood was carrying with him 2 bottles of Pedialyte, preparing himself and his body for today's game.
So Paredes, who gets a spot start today, batting 8th, has a single and an RBI and a home run to center field. And he takes a
He's taking
quality
a very
swing.
healthy hack against Chatty.
Seeing him well.
He is not getting cheated.
Two strikes on Paredes. Gonzalez in the on-deck circle. Nobody out, a run in, a walk and 2 hits. And Paredes with another hit. 1 run is scored. Herrera will go to third, and in the second is Paredes. That'll be a double. 5-3 Philadelphia.
Paredes has been a thorn in Chatwood's side all day. He has taken several quality at-bats against him, and Gerardo Parra giving the best effort. Reaching out to try to dive and save some runs for Chatty.
Now it's going to be a short outing for Chatwood. Taylor Featherston is scheduled to pinch hit now, and Walt Weiss is going to take the baseball from Chatwood. 4+. Five-3 Philadelphia. Link high-speed challenge poll question and how you voted so far. I want to know the last person before Nolan hit 30 home runs in consecutive seasons. And 39% think it was Matt Holliday, 37% think it was Carlos Gonzalez, and a smaller percentage think it was Todd Helton. Go to @RootSports_RM to participate. I don't think anybody wants to get near Tyler Chatwood right now.
Nope. Chatwood's in jeopardy of having his first loss on the road.
There's still nobody out in the inning. A walk, 3 straight hits, 2 singles and a double by Paredes. Paredes has 3 RBIs. Lyles, runners at second and third, infield in, and Featherston whips the bat through and pulls it foul. Taylor Featherston came up in the Rockies organization, was unprotected, went to the Angels in the Rule 5 draft. Was with the Angels last year. And then has moved on to Philadelphia this year. You got to miss a bat here if you can.
Well, the Angels 2 years ago, they thought that between Featherston and they made a trade to get Josh Rutledge, that one of those two was going to end up being the second baseman for the Angels. It ended up being Johnny Giovitella that took it from him.
Yeah, what was interesting about all of that is that they traded for Rutledge to be the second baseman. Featherston was going to be the super utility guy, and there's the strikeout that Lyles needed. 1 gone, and that'll bring up Cesar Hernandez. Featherston beat out Rutledge, and Featherston was playing a lot of baseball for the Angels at second early on in 2015. He was traded in the offseason to Philadelphia with the emergence of Giavotella. Hernandez walked in his last at bat, has reached now 21 straight games. Speedy second baseman with the infield in, and he hits a comebacker that is going to turn into a hit. And it's now 6-3. Galvis scores. Paredes to third. RBI number 28 for Hernandez. Guy puts the ball in play.
And he's fast. So he's going to put pressure on the defense. Shots the ball back, comes off the dirt hard. It's the second time we've seen a ball. Christian Adames had one earlier. The ball's coming off the dirt, and it's like concrete. Not much Jordan can do. Christian Adames does a great job of making sure he spins his head back to snap and dive on that baseball. Otherwise, you have another run scored, and Jimmy Paredes from second.
Hernandez at first. I'm sure will look to run at some point here. Aaron Altair at the plate. Good speed on the corners, good speed at the plate. 6-3. 3 runs in the inning for Philadelphia, still just 1 out. Ground ball to third. Nolan's going to come home with it. Great play. Terrific play to cut down the runner coming home in Galvis.
It's the only play Nolan can make, and that play only Nolan can make in baseball. No other play for him to go maybe to first base, but to make a throw off balance over Jimmy Paredes on a line, save a run from scoring. It takes Chatty off the hook for that run right there.
Closes the book on Chatwood.
That's
Gives
incredible.
up 6 runs, 4 earned, and 4+. 6 hits, 5 walks, 1 intentional, 4 strikeouts. Maikel Franco at the plate. He takes a strike. And Franco pops out to short. Adames waiting, and Christian makes the catch. In the inning, 3 runs on 4 hits. There was also a walk. Tough day for Chatwood. 6-3 Phillies. Cap. 6-3 is the score as we go to the top of the 6th. The Phillies are out in front. Tyler Chatwood had command issues after an outstanding first inning. Charlie Blackmon and DJ LeMahieu continue to do their thing, and they're going to have to the rest of the way if the Rockies are to overcome this 3-run deficit. Jimmy Paredes has been the hitting star for the Phillies. Drew Goodman, Ryan Spilborghs, Jenny Cavnar. In the 6th, David Dahl, Nick Hundley, Gerardo Parra against the former Diamondback and Baltimore Oriole hard-throwing David Hernandez. The Rockies saw him in the 9th inning on Friday, and we saw a couple of home runs from Charlie Blackmon and DJ LeMahieu against him. David Dahl in this game, a fly ball to center field, and he ripped a base hit to left and would eventually score. David has hit in 19 of his 20 Major League Baseball games. Severino Gonzalez goes 2 innings. That's a strike, 0-2. He is now in position, if things don't change, to win a baseball game. He gave up a run on 2 hits. The home run to Blackmon. Didn't walk anybody. Struck out 2. Fastball at 95 is away, 1-2. Phils, other than the postseason of 07, have been problematic for the Rockies. They're 75-103 all time against Philadelphia. They've won a series against the Phillies at Citizens Bank Park, other than the postseason, one time. That was last year. They swept the Phillies last year at the Bank. Trying to avoid a sweep this year. We were talking about Josh Rutledge earlier. Remember the great start, I mean great, not good, great start that Rutledge got off to in a Rockies uniform. In his first 20 games, he had 28 hits. To give you an idea how good that was, David Dahl, who we've been celebrating on a daily basis the last 3 weeks. Today's his 20th game, and he had a base hit earlier. That was his 27th hit. So he needs one more to tie what Rutledge did in his first 28. Out at first, Dahl had to look out for Ryan Howard. Ryan, calling out David Dahl. Sorry about that, dude, but Ryan's 275 pounds. He's going to take up some space there.
Ryan Howard had the Achilles tear years ago, and I know Ryan appreciates David not running him over. Dahl might have had a chance to be safe on that play just because he had to chop his steps to make sure he didn't run Ryan Howard over.
Nick Hundley, a base hit in his last at bat. That hit was like that. It went off the pitcher. And Nick has another hit. I mean, he's targeted the pitcher twice. He knocked out Adam Morgan, not literally, folks. He knocked him out of the game, hit him in the hand with a line drive. This ball goes off the body of David Hernandez. Ryan Howard, Cameron Rupp checking on Hernandez. He's okay. You're swinging the bat well. You're staying in the middle of the field when you're hitting the one back at the pitcher.
You're taught to hit it right back at the pitcher because, in general, that's the worst fielder on the infield. It's also the guy that's the closest to the hitter, so it doesn't have a lot of reaction time.
So with one out, here's Gerardo Parra. For more on Gerardo, here's Jenny.
Yeah, Gerardo and Carlos Gonzalez got the chance to hang out with Bobby Abreu yesterday pregame, and Cargo posted a picture of it. It's so special for them to hang out with one of their Venezuelan idols, and I talked with Parra today. He said he's my favorite. He's always been my favorite. He's my hero. I got to play on a WBC team with him, and it's just so special to spend any time with him. And what Cargo posted said 30 for 30 club. It's like squad goals, what you want to be. In Abreu's career, he had 288 home runs and 400 stolen bases, but he had 2 30 for 30 seasons, both with Philadelphia in 2001 and 2004. So I know that Cargo idolizes those numbers and how special that those seasons can be.
He had a 30-40 year in 2004. Bobby Abreu, I always thought, because the Phillies hadn't turned the corner yet as a team, I always thought Bobby Abreu was underrated. This ball's hit well to center field by Parra, really well. And the leap and the catch by Herrera at the wall. And it is a long second out off the bat of Gerardo Parra.
I don't think Gerardo could hit this baseball any harder. And you can see the frustration on his face as he's running in. He squared it up. Got a pitch he could handle and drives it out to the farthest part of Citizen Bank. Herrera's made two very nice plays today. One on Nolan Arenado in the right center gap. And then this one right here on Gerardo Parra. It was a nice Rule 5 pick 2 years ago by the Phillies.
Christian Adames, a base hit to drive in a run his last time up. He's 1 for 2. He went around. Good Eric Cooper. You think it's hot? The bottom of the first inning, Eric had sweated through his uni. There with the slider again. It's 1-1. Abreu finished with 2,425 hits. That's 4th most of native Venezuelans. #1 on the list. You know, for years, thought of Venezuela, you thought of shortstops, is Omar Vizquel. And I didn't realize this. Vizquel played forever. What a great fielder. He ended up just 32 hits shy of 3,000.
It's incredible. And there's players on the Phillies team right now. Shortstop Freddie Galvis.
Oh, you know what? Let me correct that. Most games, not hits. Most games. 32 games shy of 3,000.
Galvis wears 13 for Omar Vizquel.
Omar Vizquel, not a big guy, but boy, did he ever take care of himself. Looked like Jack LaLanne in his prime.
Manos de oro. He had a gold statue
hands
of his hands.
Yeah.
Ouch.
That hit him on the foot?
Yep. Is it a gold statue? What do you call that thing? If you have a gold thing made of your hands.
Nobody's offered to, you know, make my hands golden, so I'm not familiar with what a sculptor would call it.
A mold?
A sculpture of his golden hands.
There you go, sculpture. But it's a mold.
The Rockies are going to play the cargo card right here. So Walt down by 3 with 2 outs in the 6th inning. Knows the only left-hander down there is Arroyo. He's not up, so that's not an option for Pete Mackanin. So he's going to fire this bullet right here. It worked really well in Arlington.
Hey, you might keep him in the game moving forward just to keep Cargo's bat in here. You might want to use him twice today.
I would think that's part of the reasoning. I'm with you, Spilly, as to why Walt is firing the Cargo card right now. Could double switch Parra out of the ball game, who just hit. So here we go. 2 outs, 2 on. Cargo at the plate, single and a double last night. And he takes low ball 1. Against Hernandez in his career, Cargo's 2 for 7. Two and 0. Real quiet with that front foot of late, isn't he?
He's been quiet for a majority of the season just because he's able to sit on the back leg. He can control his tempo so much better now that he doesn't have that knee tendonitis that he had to deal with 2 years ago.
He was sitting fastball, sitting hard on a 2-0 pitch. And he got something spinning. It's 2-1.
Cargo has a lot of room to play with. The infield's pretty wide open just based on the shift that they have for Cargo.
Two and two. Hundley at second. Nick got a base hit. Adames reached when he was hit on the foot. Sixth inning, the Rockies deficient by 3 on the scoreboard.
I feel like every game so far for the Rockies, they've had opportunities to, on Friday, to tie up a score with the home run yesterday. Again, another opportunity right here.
And Hernandez goes soft 3 times, and he strikes out Cargo to end the inning. Middle of 6, the Phillies 6, the Rockies 3. Rockies baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. This is one of the most famous ice cream shops in the Northeast, Turkey Hill. And there's our man Frank, who has the strongest forearms in the ice cream business. You can't visit Turkey Hill Ice Cream, though, unless you are a credentialed member of the media. That's right. That's inside the press box here at Citizens Bank. And Frank is the most popular person in the stadium, especially when the heat index is about 108. How many did you put away this weekend?
How many did I put away? How many did you put away? You double dipped. No, you did.
I put away 4. 3. I did 2 last night. I did 1 Friday night.
Your nose is growing. Your nose is growing.
Oh my God. Listen.
You still have time for number 5, by the way.
If
I'm up here, I could run get it for you.
Dougie has how many has it been, Dougie? Is it 4 like he said? Dougie's had 4.
Doug's had 4.
4 cups, but that means like 4 scoops per cup. So you've basically.
No, they're large. They're extra large. I didn't say. He didn't ask how big they were. He asked how many times I had ice
Frank's
cream.
the best.
4. I don't
Frank
lie.
said with this crew in town, the Colorado crew, he's gone through 13 of those gallons of ice cream, which is probably the most of any series. And he said tomorrow he has to take off because he has to have Tommy John surgery.
Ryan Howard, this is lined to center field by the big guy, Howard, for a base hit. Do you know what? What is Frank saying? That we're PIG pigs? PIGS pigs?
We told him we have a lot of working out to do between now and our Philly trip in 2017. You know you leave here with about an extra 7 to 10
Can you
pounds.
imagine if Huey was here?
Oh, Huey crushes that ice cream. We should just send pictures of the ice cream to Huey to make him real jealous, as his birthday's coming up tomorrow.
Tomorrow he gets a year older than me again. Leadoff base hit by Howard. Cameron Rupp at the plate. Jake McGee is taking over on the hill for the Rockies. Cargo is not in right field. Cargo, I would say, carefully walked to the bench. He didn't look like.
Yeah, I didn't like how he followed.
I didn't like how he great or felt great.
Yeah, I didn't like how he followed through after the last swing.
So Parra remains in the ball game. That means Cargo's 19-game hitting streak dies also with that strikeout in the pinch hitting appearance. 6-3 Philadelphia, top of 7. 2-0 on Rupp. See the velocity consistently today from McGee. Last outing, you saw a lot of 95s from McGee. That last fastball was 92. There's been a pretty large fluctuation with Jake.
There really has. In the last outing, he did have a clean, gave up in an inning, had to hit and 2 strikeouts. Starting to get the velocity back, but as you mentioned, it's just not consistently there.
McGee worked in last night's ball game. That fastball at 94, swung on and missed by Rupp. 2-2. Odubel Herrera's on deck. And 3-2. Rockies on this road trip. They've been pitching out of the gate so well, but the starters on this trip coming into today, a 9.35 ERA, and in 4 innings, 5 runs allowed, 3 earned against Chatwood. That's not going to appreciably help that starter ERA on this trip. And the Pens ERA has been better, but it's still a little over 4. Strikeout of Rupp, 1 gone.
Good pitch.
There was 95.
For McGee, trusting his fastball because it is so good, and when he locates it, very difficult to square up. 4 in a 3-2 count where typically a hitter's looking for the fastball. Jake's able to locate it just off the plate and get that strikeout.
Herrera fouls it off. So we all did. We just got a text from Huey. He's in the comfort of his air-conditioned family room watching the ball game. And he said, "I missed my ice cream for sure." And then beneath it is a picture of Ben and Jerry's Chunky Monkey. So I had to improvise.
Why do you have to throw in there that he was air-conditioned room?
Because I'm sure, had he not wanted to get that text out as expeditiously as he did, he would have included that he was nice and cool and we are not. 1-1 on Herrera.
That's a good
1 for
Philly
3.
fan.
Hits are even at 8. The runs are not. 6-3 Philadelphia in the 6th. And that's clipped to right center field. Parra's not going to be able to cut it off. It'll go to the wall. Ryan Howard is sledding around third. Here's the throw to the plate. Not going to get him. Throw to third will get Herrera. A run-scoring double by Odubel Herrera. And Ryan Howard ran as far as he has run in a long time. And the crowd's giving him a standing ovation right now. And you know what? Ryan waited to give a high five to Herrera. Crowd, as they should, love Ryan Howard here at Philadelphia. Not the player he was, but he is a classy guy. Has had a marvelous career. Now watch the big man go, Spilly.
Unbelievable. This is a guy that former MVP tore his Achilles, and he's never really been the same. And for him to give that effort on a hot day like today, the headfirst slide, his teammates exploding in that Phillies dugout, Philly fans giving him the standing ovation.
You know what I would like to see? And you could do this on computer where you like put one over the top, and where they are is, say, Billy Hamilton scoring from first base versus Ryan. Would Billy already be in the dugout grabbing some Gatorade right now?
He probably could have lapped him.
He didn't do a facial also, did he?
No.
Phillies now up 7-3, 2 outs. 41 RBIs for Herrera. .945 on that. Actually 9.425 on the put out at third. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Galvis.
Looking at Jake McGee's pitch types over the last month, he has started to eliminate the curveball. That was a pitch he started to throw more and more often early in the season. He's getting back closer to that guy that was throwing the fastball almost 95% of the time.
Looking up on that scoreboard, the Phillies have scored in every inning but the first. Chatwood was 1-2-3 the first with a couple of punch outs, and then a run, both unearned, second and third, then 1-3-1 in the fourth through the sixth. This is going to be a tough play for Parra. He'll get there. That'll end the inning. There was a single and a run scoring double. It's now a 4-run lead for Philadelphia as we go to the 7th. got to get busy in a hurry. Top of the 7th, Charlie Blackmon to lead it off. 7-3 Philadelphia. He homered off of David Hernandez 2 nights ago, and he homered in his last at bat to tie the game at 3. That was in the 5th inning against Severino Gonzalez. 7 home runs last 9 games for Charlie. His next home run will be his 20th. He's been the good news for the Rockies this week.
He doesn't quit. He gives the quality at bat every single time. The Rockies have 9 outs to play with. You have to make a strong push to try to get that happy fly.
He may hit another one deep right, way back. Take a good look. You won't see it for long. Babe Ruth with his 2nd of the day. 5 home runs this weekend for Charlie Blackmon. A new career high, number 20.
It's amazing.
What a roll.
It is amazing what Charlie Blackmon has turned himself into. If he's not the best leadoff hitter in baseball, he's one of them. 2 straight at bats against David Hernandez. Saw him Friday, took him deep. Said Sunday, I'll take you deep again. DJ followed him up.
Yeah, LeMahieu took him deep on Friday.
Oh, Charlie, do it. And that's just knowing your strengths. He's hunting the fastball. He's looking at the scoreboard. You know you're down 4. Hernandez likes to throw the fastball.
Just think about this, folks. Ever since Spilly called his beard disgusting, he's hit 2 no-doubters.
That beard is disgusting.
I don't think it's a coincidence. Ticked off mom and dad at home watching in Florida, and they probably texted Charlie in between innings. Going off. Got some hacked off in those swings. Right, Jenny?
You know it.
Spilly with his own form of a motivational speech.
Keep calling it disgusting.
I did.
That's also a Rockies record as we get serious again for a moment. No Rocky had ever hit 5 home runs in a 3-game series. (7-4).
No Rocky has ever hit 5 home runs in a 3-game series.
That one surprised me because the Rockies 15 times. This is sharply hit to second. Hernandez gets there. And 15 times the Rockies hit 3 home runs in a game.
Well, Charlie hasn't been lifting. That's what he told me. I asked him where all the strength came from. He said, I haven't been lifting, but he is trying to channel 2 of his teammates.
That was my best Cargo Nolan impression last night.
You got to do it twice. I don't know. Charlie looks good. Ever since he went on MLB TV or whatever, he started hitting homers everywhere. I need to get on that. I need to get on that station.
So the guy's having some fun with him, of course, when he had 3 home runs the other night. But I love how Cargo said he has to do it twice because Cargo's had 3 home run games twice in his career. But, I mean, guys, I'm looking at it. It's the 7th. Charlie has a chance today.
He does.
Hopefully he gets another at bat. The Rockies need him to get another at bat. Nolan is in a ditch 0-2. The Rockies have said 15 times they've hit 3 home runs. And if you ask most people around baseball, you know what I'm warming to, they figure, oh, it's probably happened 12 times at Coors Field and 3 out on the road. Some ratio like that. It's actually happened 8 times at Coors Field and 7 times on the road. Almost can't have a 50-50 split with an odd number, but pretty close. Larry Walker 3 times hit 3 home runs in a game out on the road. Remember the one in 04 in Cleveland.
I remember the one in Montreal.
Giambi, of course, 2011 did it here, and that's a hanger that's pulled through the left side, so Nolan gets a knock. Well, that's good to see. And that'll bring up Descalso. So Charlie did it on Friday. Cargo was the last guy to do it. It was a road game in Cincinnati. Giambi before that here in Philadelphia at the bank. Walker in Cleveland. Walker home against on the road in St. Louis. Walker in Montreal, and that's something because Larry played, came up at Stade Olympique in Montreal, and the big cat in San Diego. He may do it again. Rockies may need him to do it again.
Pretty much been carrying the offense the last week. Well over 20 hits.
Part of the problem in the series for Charlie is that nobody's been on. They're 5 solo home runs.
You guys said he should be the NL Player of the Week. Cargo said the same exact thing the other day. I mean, his teammates, if they could vote, 2 days ago he would have been NL Player of the Week.
I don't think there's any question he's going to be National League Player of the Week. I mean, you can't go out. He's hit, what does he hit, Doug? 6 or 7 this week. He's hit 8 in his last 9 games.
A lot of multi-hit games in there.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great point also, Jenny. It's not just that he's thrown out some home runs. I mean, that's a ton of home runs, but he's hit about 8,000 this week. But he's not a happy camper right now because the Rockies are down by 3. Descalso with a 1-strike count. Nolan draws a throw. David Hernandez had nothing better to do right there. Nolan had a 1.5-step lead. Rory's going to hockey if he's not the NL Player of the Week. You know what's funny about the big leagues, Spilly? He played in every league before the big leagues, and a long time at this level, the best league in the sport. And we asked Charlie, remember, ever had a 3 home run game? No. Ever had, you know, 6 hits in a game, which he produced a couple of years ago on opening day? No. Ever did this before? No. I mean, we've done them all at in the best league, the highest level.
It's incredible. Well, that's what you get to do when you're an everyday player, too. You have a lot of opportunities to do things you've never done before. And Charlie, you know how well he takes care of his body and how much he prepares.
Strike 3 on Descalso. 2 outs, and that'll bring up David Dahl.
The first 15,000 fans through the gates on Saturday, August 20th, will receive a lunch cooler bag courtesy of King Soopers.
Dahl 1 for 3. David a single in the 4th and scored. Fly ball to center field and a sharp ground ball to second. That's the one pitch that's kind of consistently giving him fits, identifying that and kind of spitting on it in the vernacular of big league hitters, not swinging at it. One and one.
Sometimes young hitters think that they can hit every pitch that they see. Eventually, you learn to eliminate certain pitches from certain guys.
They tried to go in there again, that back foot breaking ball, and he didn't offer at it. 2 and 1. 2 outs, a run in on the home run by Blackman. Nolan had a base hit. He's at first. Scott Oberg throwing in the Rockies pen. All right, here's Blackman's numbers since Monday. 18 of 31. 7 home runs, 9 RBIs. He scored 13 runs. Mail him the trophy right now.
That's
watch, whatever you get.
That's a month for some guys. 7 home
runs in a month's a great month.
That's a fantastic month.
Well, I mean, think of it this way. If you did it for 6 months, you're going to hit 42 jacks, right? You're going to drive a Cadillac, as Ralph Kiner once said. 581 batting average. And hopefully he's not done with his Sunday afternoon. 3 and 1 on Dahl. Resting the bat on his shoulder to relax the hands. And that's a called strike. David Dahl, and a rookie will never show up an umpire, but he thought that was high, so David had to go and get the bat. I think the zone's expanded a little bit here as the day is worn on for Adrian.
Descalso had a word with Adrian after the last at bat with the strikeout called on him. Pitch was up, but right at the edge of the strike zone.
That definitely was up. So now 2 on. And Nick Hundley, who's swinging the bat well this afternoon, will come up. Temperature's actually gone up. It was 95 degrees at first pitch at 110. It's 96 degrees now. The heat index holding steady at 106. This is the manager, Pete McCannon, going out. So Hernandez will depart. Neris will come in with Nick Hundley coming up. 7-4 Philadelphia. Performance. Tyler Chatwood went 4+, 6 runs, 4 earned. He walked 5 hitters. One of those walks was intentional. Started strong and then started misfiring the fastball. Adam Morgan went 3 innings and then was hit on a line drive off the bat of Nick Hundley and had to depart. He was hit on the lower arm area, so he was gone after 58 pitches. Peter Borges comes into the ballgame defensively in a double switch. He's in right field. That'll push Aaron Altair to center as Hector Neris takes over. And the reason behind that is the pitcher spot is coming up. Pete McCannon wants Neris to work in a perfect world from his perspective an inning and a third. This guy's got a nasty slider.
This guy's stuff is filthy, and that's why Pete McCannon loves to use him. Neris has only allowed 17 inherited runners, or 4 inherited runners, to score at 24%. The major league average is 31%. And over the last 25 games, in 25 2/3, he has struck out 33 batters.
And he's ahead 0-2. Nolan's at second. David Dahl is at first. 1-2 the count. Rockies in double digits in hits again. Yesterday they had 13 hits. Out hit Philadelphia 13-6, but lost 6-3. They've out hit the Phils today 10-9, but they're down 7-4.
Neris against right-handed batters will use primarily fastball and split finger as a secondary pitch to get guys out.
Well, he slings it, doesn't he?
Comes out hard.
Well, those fans of Scott Oberg get to really stand and cheer in a few minutes when Scott comes in the ball game. This ball on the ground to third, and Nolan runs into the tag. Rockies get a run. Charlie Blackmon, his second home run of the day, is 20th of the season, a new career high. 7-4 the score. We stick around on this Sunday for a rendition of God Bless America. Enjoy, everybody.
Ladies and gentlemen, please join Caitlin Aloya as she sings God Bless America.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans, white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
Caitlin Aloya.
Philadelphia Rockies are still down by 3. Tomorrow is Purple Monday. Download the MLB.com ballpark app and become eligible to win autographed items. Plus, the first 5,000 fans will receive Purple Monday Rock Socks.
Well, the Oberg fans are happy. Scott, he's a Northeastern kid, big star at the University of Connecticut, is in the ball game for the Rockies here in the bottom of the 7th. Up and down year for Scott Oberg, figuratively and literally. He's been up and down between Denver and Albuquerque, and he's had some really good moments with the Rockies, and he has struggled at times with the Rockies. Jimmy Paredes will lead things off. Then Peter Borges and Cesar Hernandez, 8-9-1. With the Phillies up 7-4. Paredes has been the hitting star for Philadelphia today. RBI single in the second, home run in the fourth against Chatwood, just the second road home run he's allowed this year, and then he had an RBI double in the fifth. On the outside corner from Oberg at 96 for a strike. Breaking ball, it's 0-2.
Paredes has been very aggressive today against fastballs. Saw the ball very well against Tyler Chatwood.
Back up the middle, and positioned there is Adames, and he gets Paredes, who runs well. One out, and it'll be the first at bat for Peter Borges.
Borges was hitting the hand last night. Obviously the hand feels fine.
One and one. And it's 1-2. Good breaking ball. Hard smash under the glove of Descalso, and that'll be the Rockies' fourth error of the day. So Borges reaches.
Descalso trying to stay down on this baseball. Right back in the dirt. Usually the sure hands of Descalso. Obviously, for infielders and you're out of position, playing first base, you get a little different look with how the ball is coming off a guy's bat, especially from a right-hander. You'll get a lot of English and topspin. That's a ball that Descalso needs to make. Look out. Well, no surprise whenever the Rockies make 4 or more errors. All time the Rockies record are 3-23.
Three and 23. Hear what you said? 26 times. Only 26 times has that happened. And the Rockies have been in business since 1993. If that were to happen to your high school team, you know, and errors are, listen, physical errors happen. But if you're the coach of your local high school team, you're not happy when your club kicks it 4 times. The major league level, it's really unusual. This is back up the middle. That's an out, and that skips past Descalso. And Hernandez did not move up, so there will not be an error on that play. But the sloppy play continues.
Hernandez runs really well. Ball hit right up the middle. Adames does a great job putting his foot on the bag.
An easy throw, though, because
Hernandez is not even running to
running
first.
hard. You just got to get it in the air 90 feet.
Hernandez is making zero effort to get to first.
Aaron Altair at the plate. Ground ball to short. That'll end the inning as Adames flips to LeMahieu. So we'll go to the 8th. The Rockies down by 3 runs. And Gerardo Parra will be first up in the 8th. Coors Light, standing 6'6", weighing 300 pounds. A country boy, Haystacks Calhoun. No, it's actually the Philly fanatic. He's from the Galapagos Islands. Did you know that, Spilly?
Yeah, I know. His favorite movie is Rocky. I love Motown Philly. I'm with you, fanatic. Favorite moments, parading down Broad Street after the 1980 World Series, and I don't care about the 08 one. There's a fanatic with
Parra getting the shakedown.
Give me my keys.
How many times did you steal the keys, Billy?
Twice. One time, Yorvit Torrealba ruined it because for a while, I think you guys remember one of the celebrations that the team did. First pitch swinging, Parra grounds out to Neris. One of the things that we would do was we would dunk on each other. Remember when we would dunk?
Yeah.
So I stole the Fanatic's keys and I taped them up to the roof of our dugout. So he would have to come down, and once he came down to grab the keys, I was gonna dunk on him. I was gonna dunk on the Fanatic. Well, Torrealba, he's not in the starting lineup. He starts walking up with the bat and he sees the keys, and the Fanatic's about to walk down, and Torrealba has this bat and he starts like running him out of the the dugout with the bat. So Torrey ruined it for me. I was about to dunk on the Fanatic. All 6'6", 300 pounds of him.
It's a great story, Spilly.
Yeah.
0-2 on Adames. Hector Neris, tough customer, setup man, and he gets a strikeout on a sinker. 2 outs. Ben Paulson's going to pinch hit. 2 outs, nobody on. Paulson just got back to the big leagues on Friday. The injury to Mark Reynolds, the broken hamate. Mark's going to be out 4 to 6 weeks. Word out of Miami, Giancarlo Stanton is out for the year. Another tough year for Stanton. He had the horrendous slump earlier. He turned it around, especially against the Rockies. Over last year, he missed a ton of time with an injury.
Well, it's like with the
That's
Rockies.
a huge blow. I mean, Miami's a playoff caliber team.
Yeah, Miami's tied for the wild card behind the Dodgers, tied with St. Louis. So they're right there. 61 and 56 record. And surprisingly, the Rockies, even with the tough stretch, they're 5 games out.
It's 5 games out, but
quickly fading.
They played a poor game today, and they go quietly in the 8th inning. 7-4. Estevez next. By Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. By Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo customers get your 2-for-1 club level tickets by visiting wellsfargo.com/Rockies. And by StubHub, looking for great seats. Head to StubHub, the official ticket marketplace of the Colorado Rockies. So many fun places to visit in Philadelphia. Hot and humid this weekend, and the Rockies have played sluggish baseball. In the 8th inning, they find themselves down 7-4. Carlos Estevez to face Maikel Franco, Ryan Howard, and Cameron Rupp, trying to keep it a 3-run game and give the Rockies a chance in the 9th, where they'll have the top of the order. That's off the plate, 2-0. It's been a rough go of late for Estevez. He's given up runs in 3 of his last 4 outings. His last clean outing came August the 4th against the Dodgers.
Nowhere near the strike zone in the first 3 pitches.
No. He was in the ball game yesterday, gave up 2 runs in an inning. Wow. You know, sometimes talk about hitting being contagious, starting rotations, getting on a roll. Well, right now it seems like bad baseball's contagious.
Nick Hundley's trying to get him locked back in, and sometimes you need that. That's a savvy vet move from Nick Hundley right there, just saying, hey, enough's enough, let's go. You're better than that.
Yeah, that was that message. You didn't need to hear it. You could just tell watching the actions of Nick Hundley. You know, for Walt, when he removed Carlos Estevez several days ago from the closer role and put Adam Ottavino in that slot, he said, I'm not, you know, backing off Estevez. I completely believe in him. He's got the stuff physically and the stuff emotionally to be a ninth inning guy. He said, I'm going to keep him in important innings. But what he's seen the last couple of days, he may have to back out of that right now, because Estevez not throwing strikes, behind in counts. And as I said, he's been giving up runs. So Walt, on the plus side right now, can't feel confident running him out there, say, in the 7th inning.
No, he can't. And the response that Estevez has given Walt based on results has not been good. Now that result is good. After Nick Hundley came after him.
And I give Nick 50% of that strikeout.
Sure. Go after them. Your stuff is too good.
Blew away Ryan Howard on 3 pitches.
Fastball up in the zone above the belt. After making 2 quality pitches, puts the big guy away. You don't have to strike out the side to prove that you're good. You just need to make quality pitches. I mean, a 1-2-3 inning with 3 pitches works just as great.
Cameron Rupp with the runner going. Hundley's throw not going to get Maikel Franco. First stolen base all year. So Estevez has had some issues holding guys on. Gives up the bag to Franco in a 3-run game. Opposition this year has swiped 69 bases against the Rockies and been caught only 20 times. Rockies, by contrast, have 51 stolen bases, and they've been caught 31 times. It's not a good ratio. 1-1 on Rupp. 100 miles an hour. We haven't seen 100 in a while from Estevez. Honestly, Nick went out there and he said, and it's the one place, wouldn't you agree, harder, angrier, faster doesn't work at the plate. It's not going to work defensively. The one area where a little bit of hacked off may work is if you have a big arm and you're on the hill and you're trying to get just 3 guys out. Do it again. Another 100.
I think mentally for him, with a little anger behind it, you see the target that Nick is setting up, and you're just trying to drive that baseball straight through it. Fine, I'm going to throw it right through you, Nick. And that's good. Now you're starting to get the mechanics to where he's on top of the baseball, finishing out in front. He's driving through the ball to get that velocity. That ball felt like it was 104 miles an hour.
That's 3 straight pitches at 100.
It's not the anger behind it or just what it, the boiling sensation you get. It's the intent. My intent right now is to throw this ball straight through his glove.
Rupp calls time. Three and 2 on Rupp. Tommy Joseph in the on-deck circle.
no messing around with what Estevez is trying to throw here. This will make the 8th pitch to the at-bat and another fastball. He went off
Spun
speed.
that one, yeah.
Still like to see those strikes lower in the zone. That's where you can foul the pitches off.
I'd like to see 100 on the inside corner too. That's tougher to get to, isn't it, Spilly?
A lot harder. It's almost, if you're gonna miss up and away on the strike zone with a good fastball, that's pretty hard to hit because your mind tells you it's a ball, but you can't help but swing at it. But inside, you can tie someone up.
That's a base hit to right. Carr's got to wait on it. Franco will get a stop sign. 1st and 3rd.
Live Rockies baseball is here with MLB.com at bat on your smartphone or tablet. Stay connected with live stats, news, and more.
Tommy Joseph is 5 for 9, a couple of bombs against the Rockies, up with runners at 1st and 3rd. And 1 out. Pitcher spot the 6 hole where Herrera was situated.
The Rockies have seemed to be on defense and standing out there for quite a bit of this game.
This is in the air, shallow left center. And a good play by Adames, getting his feet behind the baseball even though he had to go out to get the ball. So he had a little momentum going back toward home. Franco, not a speed guy. He stays at 3rd. There are 2 outs, and that'll bring up Galvis. Rockies in the 9th. They'll have the top of the order. Out of play.
Well, Galvis, even with the .231 batting average, has 47 RBIs.
.99 on by him. 2 strikes.
Galvis plays great defense. 2nd in baseball for shortstops with his fielding percentage. And his hits, when they come through, they're timely.
Some good news from down below. Jeff Hoffman continues to throw the ball well. Still working. He's on a pitch count now, but Hoffman has thrown 4 innings of shutout baseball in Colorado Springs. The Isotopes leading Colorado Springs 3-0. Hoffman 4 innings, just 1 hit, a walk, 7 strikeouts. .55 pitches through 4. Talk about tough places to pitch. Security Field, Colorado Springs. You know that.
I feel bad for my teammates sometimes.
It's not just the balls in the air, it's the choppers that it's like cement in the infield. 1-2 on Galvis, and he struck him out at 99. So Estevez works out of a situation. He walked the first guy, Franco, on 4 pitches, but he ends up with a couple of strikeouts in the inning. Charlie Blackmon has had a weekend. He'll need to add to that as the Rockies will come to bat in the ninth, down by 3. Hitting .581. And we're going to give away our Jimmy John's delivery of the game. Charlie with a couple of more home runs today after hitting 3 on Friday. He hit 1 in the 5th. He came back in the 7th and hit 1. Jimmy John's delivery of the game. Charlie Blackmon, a Rockies record 5 home runs in the 3-game series. He takes outside from Genmar Gomez, ball 1. Another change defensively. Philadelphia has removed Ryan Howard from the game. Tommy Joseph, who just pinch hit, is at first base. Shallow left, and Paredes will get there, 1 out.
And Genmar Gomez has been such a great story for the Philadelphia Phillies. He's now 5th in the National League in saves with 30. One of 4 other guys that have over 30 saves this year. Super sinker, good slider last night. Faced the top of the lineup, and Charlie Blackmon was able to strike him out. DJ and Nolan.
Not a strikeout closer.
No.
Contact closer.
He's like Brad Ziegler. Very similar, except he's not throwing underhand.
LeMahieu at 331. DJ doubled in a run in the 3rd. Takes a strike. 4 runs, 10 hits, 4 errors for the Rockies. 7 runs, 10 hits, 1 error for Philadelphia. Two balls and a strike on LeMahieu. 2-2. Nolan's on deck. Descalso after that. Trying to produce some traffic, down 7-4. Who Wants Tacos? Fans follow at @RootSports_RM on Twitter to receive alerts for the Rockies taco special when the Rockies score 7 runs in a game. Jorge De La Rosa tomorrow night back at Coors Field as the Rockies open up that series against Washington. And it will be Max Scherzer for the Nats. Washington beat Atlanta 9-1 today in our nation's capital. 2-2 outside, 3-2. Plate coverage. Mayhew was wearing glasses. He just tossed them aside.
Man, he's been struggling throughout the at-bat, trying to wipe him off, get him to sit on the face the right way.
Another 3-2 on LeMahieu. And a walk to DJ. Good at bat after good at bat after good at bat. And for LeMahieu, that is his 52nd walk this year. He moves one ahead of Nolan for the club lead. That's you wouldn't have guessed that coming into the season, because Nolan was one of those guys that was really hard to walk in the past. Here's Arenado, 1 for 4.
Last at bat, a hanging slider. Nolan was able to pull it through the 5-hole. He's taking quality at bats throughout the day, just hasn't had results. 2 deep flyouts to center field.
See if this at bat, the situation, can help him a little bit, Spilly, because a home run he doesn't do any good. He's trying to reach, and maybe through that process, that mental process, you find yourself a little bit more. Outside, 1-1. You buying into that potentially?
At this point with Nolan, no, just because I feel like he's just trying to get himself in a good spot. Even if there was nobody on base, or regardless of the score, I think he's just trying to find comfort in being in the box.
That'll give him some comfort. A line shot to left, and now the Rockies will get the tying run up in Descalso. All you can ask for. 1 out, 2 on. Rockies down 7-4.
Nolan's hit the ball hard 4 times today, and now has 2 hits to show for it. Hanging slider. A little bit quieter with his feet, still getting that load. It's good to see him taking a pitch that was a hanger, a mistake, and making sure he puts it hard in play.
Well, Daniel in his first at bat since coming in the ball game. Well, actually, it was his first at bat. He's had 2 at bats. He struck out looking his last at bat, but his first at bat, he had a line shot to deep right. Home run last night with a man aboard.
Tony Wolters and Ben Paulson are the only Rockies left on the bench. Carlos Gonzalez already pinch hit earlier today in the 4th inning. The strikeout.
1-0 on Descalso. 2-0. And Rupp's going to go back to the mound. Listen to this. There's so many odd numbers in this series. The Rockies are down 3 runs in the 9th with 2 outs left to play with. They've hit 8 home runs in a 3-game series so far. And they're on the cusp of getting swept. That's not what you normally associate outcomes with when somebody tells you they've hit 8 home runs in 3 ball games.
I guarantee they've out-hit them too. 13 hits yesterday. They're out-hitting the Phillies again today with 11.
11-10 today. 2-0 count for Descalso. Put it in a box. And Daniel hits a 2-hopper to second. And did he beat it? Yeah. If it holds up, he'll give Dahl a chance.
He's safe.
He's safe.
Galvis made a good attempt to even make it close. I didn't think there was a shot. Good quick feet. Good transfer by Galvis at second.
So David Dahl, 1 for 3 and a walk. Singled and scored back in the 4th. Last hope for the Rockies of extending this game. LeMahieu at third, Descalso at first. Outside. So a little shadow right around the rubber in the middle portion of the mound. Is that an issue for the hitter?
It can be. It's hard to tell from right here. You need the center of the diamond more dark.
Descalso moves up. That was not a stolen base.
Dahl struck out last night on a slider, probably off the plate. But Eric Cooper called for a strike 3 to end the game off Genmar Gomez.
Good eye. 2 balls and a strike. Was off the plate, called the strike, so it's 2-2.
Well, I'm learning to trust David Dahl's eyesight at the plate. He has a very good idea of where the strike zone is.
Two in the dirt, 3-2. Here's the 3-2. Outside, ball 4. And now the bases are loaded for Nick Hundley.
Well, any ball in the gap for Nick. It doesn't have to be a home run, but anything down the lines with David Dahl, as well as he runs, has a chance to score. I would expect Stu Cole on any extra base hit to take your shot, put the pressure on the defense. David Dahl, with nobody covering him at first base, will be able to get a big lead.
Nick hits it in the air, center field. Will it drop? Yep, that's going to score 2. Dahl to third. We have a 1-run game. Nick Hundley drops one in front of Altair in center field, and all of a sudden it's 7-6. The plot thickens.
Hundley all day has been hitting the ball well. He's hit 2 pitchers in the rear today, and just keeping that approach hard and up the middle gets that sinker a little bit up, even though it breaks his bat. He's able to drop it in front. Altair was playing deep because he's in a no double situation.
Gerardo Parra, when we resume, will be at the plate. Gerardo's 1 for 4. So a foul out, a drive to the wall in center. Where a leaping catch was made out there by Herrera in the 6th inning. And a comebacker. Tony Walters is jogging in because 2 hitters down is the pitcher's spot. The Rockies continue this inning. So he's come in from the bullpen. And this is in the air to center field on the first pitch. Altair's got it, and the Rockies rally comes up a run short. The Phillies win it 7-6. The Phillies had swept the Rockies in the heat and humidity of Philadelphia. It has been a tough week for Colorado. They go 1-4 on the road trip. Severino Gonzalez gets the victory. He's 1-2. Tyler Chatwood takes the loss, his first road loss of the year. He's now 6-1 away from home, 10-8 overall. And Genmar Gomez gets his 31st save of the year. Charlie Blackmon did all he could, but the Rockies get swept here in Philadelphia. Again, the final this Sunday afternoon, 7-6 Phillies. We go to Denver. Here's Mark Stapp and Corey Sullivan, guys.